Good morning, Whitbread property team. I'm Dave Tanner, I'm the drinks implementation manager. And my job basically is to make sure we're maximising the commercial opportunity of every single drink that's within our restaurants and our hotels. So whether it's the perfect serves, or whether it's the experience surrounding that drink, or even the way that it looks and feels and it's merchandised on a bar, that all falls to me, just to make sure that our teams are knowledgeable enough to sell it, they know how to pour it, and our guests are loving every drink we sell. Because let's be honest, drinks aren't cheap anymore. So actually, it's the whole experience that goes with them these days. James invited me along just to share with you a couple of cocktail and a mocktail recipe with you. I think originally when the brief came out we were looking at mocktails, but we thought, hey, hang on a sec, it's the last Thursday before Christmas, why don't we get you, if you've got the ingredients, to try an alcoholic, and if not, you can impress your friends later. Firstly, a massive apology, I'm not there virtually in person today. I'm hoping at the time you watch this that I'm in the process of moving, or I've got some boxes packed at least. But I think we all know, and this is where I bow down to all of you guys, in that it's not easy moving house. So how the hell you manage to open hotels consistently on time and to an amazing quality is beyond me. So massive respect to you. Some of you will know me from all the weird and wonderful back bars we have out there, and the draft beer ranges we're having to put in some of our sites. And some of you, like Brian Steer, will know me very well from horrendous projects like when we rolled out unlimited soft drinks a few years ago into Brewers Fair, which still haunts me to this very day. And Brian, if you're watching, it's coming back this year, so be careful and watch this space. Anyway, let's crack on with a couple of drinks. So hopefully you've all got your ingredients. For this first one, we just need obviously a glass, some ice if you've got it, orange juice, cranberry juice, and some ginger ale or some soda water, completely up to you. So, firstly, take your glass, as we do, and the first rule there I've just broken already, so don't hold your glass at the top, especially when you're serving to the guests, especially in this day and age, we need to be holding at the bottom. So then, fill it with ice. Now the common myth around ice, and I'll tell you from a restaurateur, is everyone thinks that people put a lot of ice in just to make more margin on drinks. It's not true actually. What ice keeps ice cold. So the more ice you put in, the more the drink will remain cold. So there you go, just to dispel that myth. Firstly, take your cranberry juice, and we're going to put 100 ml of cranberry juice in. So I'm using a jigger. If you've got mixing jugs, whatever at home, just use those. But 100 ml, this is 50. Put it in. There you go. Okay. Then we're going to add 50 ml of orange juice. So again, just use my jigger, put it in. Then we're going to top up. Now, at this point, you can either use, if you're really feeling devilish, if you've got Prosecco handy, use Prosecco. You can top this up with Prosecco to make it into an alcoholic drink. What I'm going to use is ginger ale. It just gives it a bit more sweetness and actually a bit of a bite, and then also, more importantly, gives it carbonation. So just a bit of a fizz. So that basically is it. And again, if you don't have ginger ale, you can use soda water. It's just probably more about the carbonation bit of it. And then we're just going to finish that up with a wheel of orange, if you've got one, and a cinnamon stick as well. Now, what I would suggest, you can put a cinnamon stick in, star anise, any mixed spices you have, put it in here, because actually you can extend this into a winter punch. You can put it into a jug. And actually, the more spices you put in there, the more actually they start coming out, and build. This drink just keeps giving. So yeah, very good. Just give it a stir with a straw or a teaspoon, whatever you've got, and then there's your winter punch very quickly. That's okay. That's okay, even if I do say myself. Right. Hopefully that was simple enough. Now we're going to move on to a cocktail for you, and I'm going to use a Negroni. So. Negroni as a cocktail has probably come from nowhere. So it's an Italian-based cocktail. I think it dates back to, the end of the First World War, if I'm right. But probably didn't really come into fashion until 60s, 70s. And it uses an Italian aperitif Campari, which, if you're like me, your gran probably has in her cupboard. And up until she passed away a few years ago, she still had the same bottle in her cupboard for the 28 years I knew her. So that's those are the ingredients. So in terms of that, it's also got martini in, so we're going to use a sweet vermouth. So this is Martini Rosso, you can use any sweet vermouth you got. And then gin, which is more important. So back to the Negroni. As I said, it's come from nowhere. So the cocktail market's been dominated by Pornstar Martini and Mojito for the last 10 years, I guess, so 5-10 years, where cocktails have started getting bigger. Those two have been number 1 and 2 for a very long time, let's put it that way. But what started to happen recently is a bit more in terms of using aperitifs and using whiskey, actually a bit more harder alcoholic cocktails have started coming back up. So the old fashioned is back up into the top 10. Whiskey sours starting to grow again, it's about almost, I think it's top 15. And then you've got the Negroni, which has come from, as I said, nowhere, but it's probably now top 4, I'd say. I think in some places you read it's actually top 3. So that kind of shorter style, more alcohol cocktail is starting to increase, just whether, you know, it's just one of those trends that just comes and goes. So really simple. Take a rocks glass. I've got this fancy one that I've got from the Crow's Nest and Beefeater. Again, fill it with ice. Ice is your friend. However, it is Christmas, so if you don't want to put ice, and it is your drink, do that. Again, I'm going to use a jigger. He says, trying to find it. I'll use this one, so fine. I'm going to use the jigger. And first ingredient I'm going to do is actually, look, I've showed you gin, and actually what I've made is my own infused winter spice gin, and you can do this at home really easily. So just get a frying pan and just put in some cinnamon, star anise, cloves, basil leaves, and just toast them for a bit. Wait for them to cool down, and then just pop them into a jar of gin, or even into a bottle of gin, and then close it and put it in your fridge for 48 hours. When you open that bottle 2 days later, the smell and the aroma is amazing. So that's what I'm going to use first. So there's 3 ingredients: gin, sweet vermouth and Campari. I'm going to use that, so I'm going to use 25 of this, of our spiced gin, over there. Other way. I'm going to use the sweet vermouth. So again, Martini Rosso, as I said. 25 ml of that. And then the Campari again, 25 ml. Now, I know I keep saying this, I am using a jigger. It is Christmas. You can use your eye, so absolutely up to you. There you go. So that is the basic form of our Negroni. All we're going to do now is just stir it. And again, if you've got a shaker at home, what I would do is put all this in, shake it around, and then pour it over the ice, because that is so much better. But basically, you're at home, just give it a stir, straw, spoon, whatever. It gives off this really good ruby colour. Finish it just with, so I've got the zest of orange. So again, just peel it off. You can put a wheel of orange if you want, but it's important. So just, if you are using a zest, just fold it up and give it a rub, and then drop it in, because it actually releases more of the orange flavour. And then just because it's Christmas, I'm going to stick in a bit of rosemary. And again, you can finish it off with cinnamon, star anise if you want to. And that is as simple as the Negroni is. And you'll see this now more and more on cocktail lists as we go into 2021. And the rise of Campari and Aperol have really started increasing. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. You know, it was a whistle-stop tour on 2 drinks, but really have a, you know, thank you for all the work you do, especially for me from a bar point of view. You know, the bar of the future is something I'm really keen to start looking at, and how we can start to evolve that in our business. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Have a really good Christmas, and we'll see you soon. See you later.